Hello everyone, it's Natasha from Treasure Books. So I know that a lot of us have a lot of book pages that we are trying to use up. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make these paper bow embellishments with a twist. So obviously you can use any paper, it doesn't have to be book pages, but I think the writing adds more character. And here is what they look like. And here's the twist. It's actually a paper clip. I mean, it's not much of a surprise, but take a look at this. You have a simple little envelope like this, boring, and then you add one of these in there as a closure and instantly transform this envelope into something beautiful. Or you have just a plain piece of boring paper. You grab any one of these and it's going to work and it's going to make it look really pretty. It's like an instant tag that you can pop into your journal. Or here's another one, a little envelope that I've made just by sewing around. Pop one of these on there and there we go. How cool does that look? I really like it. Even things like gift bags. This was just, I had it nearby. It would be better if it didn't have any writing. But adding one of these on there, let's go with this one here. So I'm just going to pop it in here and instantly personalize that gift bag. I think it looks really, really beautiful. Even something like this, paper bags. Pop one of these on there as a closure with some goodies inside to send to a friend. And the best thing about this is they're really, really easy to make. They're quite quick to make. You don't have to spend any money, just a little bit of time. And you got yourself some really, really cool, beautiful bows. All right, so I have my instructions here. Without further ado, let's begin. Making these bows is really, really simple and straightforward. We don't really need instructions, but I have them there just because I like to for you guys. All right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to get a long strip of paper. So I'm using one book page and I'm just going to fold it in half, doesn't matter where, because I like to have a double here. See that? I like that double there just to give it a bit more, a little bit more strength. So that's my first step. And here we go. So I mean, you can, you know, cut that in half and have two, but I like it to be double. So now we are folding in half like this, and I like the writing to be the right way up. Fold it in half and cut the edge like this. Trim there somewhere in the middle. Make a cut and then there we go. So I'll just leave that on the side. Our next step is to cut two smaller pieces. So that's these here. And you can have just one or you can have more than two. This one here, you can see that I have three. 1, 2, 3. You know, you can play around with that, but all of my other ones just have two. So I'm going to go with two. So now this is how I do it to get it. I'm just going to fold this. You can just fold your remaining piece of paper in half. And then I'm going to fold it. You can fold it in half again. And then, so we have this. There's 4 papers, 4 layers. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. And now what I'm going to do is fold it this way. Hold it here. And just cut kind of like a half heart, I guess. That's sort of what it looks like. And then when I open it up, I have this shape. You can also get that shape by folding a piece of paper this way and just cutting like a petal shape. Just like that, you know, but I'll just demonstrate one more time how I do it. Now, the wider you start cutting here, the wider your middle will be here. And the more out you go, the bigger the bow, okay? So I kind of like to keep it in proportion. This is really the biggest bow that I made. So you can see how these ones here are bigger than these ones here. And that's determined at this step when you start cutting. So let's say I start cutting here and I want to make them really, really large. See how much bigger they are than the first ones that I cut. So you can play around with that, and then you can like layer different sizes, perhaps like this. Okay, and they are kind of blending into one another now because the edges haven't been inked. And I always like to ink my edges because that's when you can really see these petal things kind of standing out. So that's our next step, inking the edges. And what I like to do here, we want to make it into this shape. So you just move it to the side a little bit. You can have one side longer if you prefer that look, or, you know, just play around here. And then ink the visible edges. And I'm using, you can't even see the name, it's called Aged Mahogany. But you can use, you know, if you don't have distress inks, you can use shoe polish. And now I like to do the petals, or I wouldn't call them petals, but the bow, I'm not sure what they're called, these things. Alright, so that's all inked, and it will look something like this perhaps. So I'll just leave it there for a second. The next step is you want to get a paper clip. And I'm just using standard size, so whatever that is, maybe 1 inch and a bit. And we are affixing the paper clip to this piece, and I want to have the longer side at the back, so I put the short side to the front, right there in the middle, short side, and then the long side is here at the back. Now I'm going to place the 2 smaller pieces over the top, and you will probably notice that the paper clip is showing a little bit. So you can try and maneuver it around to, you know, if you want to hide that paper clip, but that doesn't bother me at the moment because I will be covering it up. And the next thing I'm going to do is staple them in place. So now we're at step number 6, and we are stapling vertically. So obviously we're not going to staple this way because we can't, because our paper clip is there. So we want to place that staple right there in the middle of the paper clip. I hope you can see that. So that's right there in the middle of the paper clip. And now I'm going to staple. Really quite simple. So if you don't have a stapler, you don't want to use a stapler, whatever, you can just glue those pieces down. And the next thing I'm going to do, I mean, you can just leave it as it is, or, you know, you can just go ahead and hide that staple, which is what I'm going to do now. I might do something like this. You can have a little button in there, or butterfly, whatever. I mean, you can play around with this step, but I'm just going for the simple because a simple is, I don't know, I like it. So here we go. Maybe something like that. So you can make a whole bunch and then do your embellishing all at once at the end. And this is definitely the fun part, just playing around with the embellishments. And so, as you've seen, I have applied glue to the back of that card, and now I'm just going to press it down to keep it in place. And you can see that I have completely hidden that paper clip, which is visible at the back, but that's okay. And there we go. And now your paper clip is there, and you can just go ahead and embellish your projects. But now that I've got these 2 ready, I'm going to do a speeded up process of making another bow, perhaps a bigger one. So maybe I'll try and change it up a little bit. So maybe on this bigger one I might play around with these things. Tails, maybe that's what they're called, maybe. Bow tails. Maybe I can use some more pieces of paper here to make it more fun. Perhaps if I go into my scraps little folder over here. And why not? And I'm going to use this. This is actually from some type of a catalog, but I really like that pattern. So let's see. I'm going to fold it in half and do it this way because it's not wide enough, so I have to do it this way. I mean, you can really make them as elaborate or as simple as you want. So here I am putting the paper clip on this longer piece over here, just like that. Long part at the back. Now I'm just going to layer these ones. Let's see how we should do it. Maybe like this. Even just 2 like this looks nice. I'm actually just going to use the 1 piece, not the 2 pieces. So now that I'm happy with the placement, I pop the middle right there in between that paper clip, right in there, just like that, over the top. And vertically, well, this stapler is too short, so I might have to use my long one. Not the long one, it's a standard size one, but it's got slightly longer arms. And now I'm just stapling right there in the middle. The tails really could have been longer, but that's okay. I'm quite happy with that. And now I just want to embellish that middle, and I'm using this piece that I've collaged on. Maybe I like this side better, let's see. Okay, I like this side better, so I'm just going to glue that on and leave it as it is. And I think it looks pretty good, even though it doesn't seem to be very balanced. It seems like these tails need to be longer, but it really doesn't matter. I mean, who cares? Nobody's going to assess me on my bow tail abilities, so I am quite happy with this. Here's the one that we made just before, like a little topper on a tag. I think it looks quite cool. I'm thinking even a gift bag, something like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really had a lot of fun making these little beauties, and I hope you will give them a go. And you could just make a whole lot when you're watching TV, relaxing. You know, it's a good way to keep your mind occupied with nothingness and pure bliss of just creating. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!